Okay. So first of all, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the your HANA DB administration class. So this is the first class of the database. So today we are going to discuss about the some introduction and advantages of the HANA database. Since this is our first class, right? So SAP HANA DB. So why we have mentioned SAP? Why? Because this is SAP product. HANA DB is SAP product. SAP product, not the Oracle products, not the Microsoft like that. It's like SAP implemented this database here. So what is the why it is so important nowadays? Not nowadays. Maybe why I can put this way, why all customers are most of the customers are very keenly interested to go with the HANA database for their business operations. Why? And also, what is first of all, what is HANA database? HANA database is the high performance abbreviation I'm telling here, high performance. So analytical appliance, high performance analytical appliance here. So HANA means H will come to the here, right? Then ANA, it will come to the here. So that's both are called the high performance analytical appliance. This is kind of appliance and it is delivered by SAP. So this is the HANA product here, right? SAP product here, HANA database. So what what is the major difference here compared to the other databases? Other databases in the sense like, so we have SQL Server, so Oracle, MaxDB, right? And also Sybase, and so etc. So we have other databases in the market. But even though why we have new database came to the market, and it is very like all customers or most of the customers are very interested to go with the HANA database. Why? Because in the name itself we have high performance analytical appliance. The performance wise, the database performance wise, it is very high. Very high means within fraction of milliseconds, you will get the results from the database level. So within fraction of milliseconds, you will get the data from database level. The database means it will store the data in the form of tables, right? In the tables, we have columns and rows are available, right? In the table, we have, suppose if you take the database, so this is the bucket, right? In the bucket, we have, so here we have the list of tables are available here. List of tables, employee table, salary table, payments table. So all the table, list of tables are located in the tables here, bucket, right? Each bucket, there is a, so rows and columns are available here. Rows and columns are available in the bucket here. Rows and columns are available in the bucket here. Rows and columns are available in the bucket here. Rows and columns are available in the bucket. So if the data will come to the database and it will store the data here. So in the form of rows and columns. But that is the other databases. When it comes to the HANA database, the business data, it has only columns. It has only, that is one of the great feature. It has only columns. That's why we will call it as the HANA database. There is a one more name is called the columnar database. Columnar database. And also other databases, it will store the data in the disk level, file system level. File system level means you have the C drive or D drive, the data will be stored here. C drive or D drive, the data will be stored here. Suppose if I take the SQL Server, so here the file system level data files will be created. Here you have the data will be stored, right? Same as like data will be stored. But here, when it comes to the HANA, it will store the data in memory. It's one of the greatest feature compared to the other databases, this is also one of the new feature SAP implemented. So in memory. So accessing the data from in memory is faster than disk. How much time? 1 lakh times faster than disk. So why? Because I will tell you the one simple example here. So I will tell you the one simple example here. So normally other databases, suppose the example, this is the, suppose the example here. So normally whenever any request comes, so first it will go to the CPU, then memory, then disk layout, disk, right? So file system level, C drive or disk type. So let me write it here. So CPU, memory, disk, right? So the data will go to the CPU here, okay? Then CPU to memory, then memory to disk here, right? This is the way of the other activities other database will perform. So same as like previously before the HANA, this is the flow of the request here. Whenever you want to any request here, suppose I want some data, so then if you type it here, so it may take some time to get the data from the file system. If it is a small, then immediately you got it, right? So suppose like example ABC, if you type it, if you click on this button, so it may take some time to grab the data. If the data size is very huge, it may take some time to grab the data, all those things, right? So it will take some time. So, but this is the other databases, how it will work, right? So when it comes to the HANA database here, when it comes to the HANA database, basically HANA database also the request first to go to the CPU. Here we have the main memory. Here we have the main memory and the disk layout. They have kept into the in the in memory itself here. So CPU, we have the CPU, and memory we have the, this is the memory we have, and also this is the disk layout. This is a disk layout, means data storing in memory only, so that any request goes first, it will go to the CPUs, then CPU, after CPU it will go to the memory, then the data is available in memory itself. It will pick up the data, then it will give the response back to the user here. But here these timelines we are reducing here. These timelines we are reducing here. This disk timelines we are reducing here. And also the file system data storing at file system level. So pulling the data from data file system level, it may take little longer time also. So why? Because so in memory means it's a very fasterly it will access the data. But storing the data in disk layout is, it will take some time to pull the data, building the index, searching, getting the response, all those things, it may take some time. So that is the reason when the data is there in the disk, it may take time. When the data is there in the in-memory, it is very fast, right? It is very fast here. That is the main thing of the database. So this is the HANA database. So it will quickly give the response. Why? Because in HANA is in-memory concept. In-memory concept. In-memory means data is storing into the physical memory. Physical memory means our RAM memory. So that is the reason all the data storing into the RAM memory, then directly it is going to the CPU and memory, data is available here, then it will give the response back to the users. But what about the here? Here, first it will go to the CPU, then memory to disk, it will search it out here, then it will give the response to the memory, then here it will show the results here. So this is the request flow of the other databases. So that is the one here. So this is the main feature of the HANA database. Here mainly two technical words we discussed here. One is the in-memory IMDB, in-memory database, and also the column-oriented columnar database, right? Column-oriented and columnar database here. Columnar database here. Column-oriented and columnar database. So if anyone asks you the question, What is mean by HANA database means HANA is a in-memory database. It has only columns and it is the columnar, the fastest columnar database in the market. So it's a very high performance. Why? Because why it is very high performance means within fraction of milliseconds, why you are getting the within a fraction of seconds, why you are getting the response from the database means data residing into the HANA database. Data residing into the in memory. Sorry, data residing into the in memory. That is the reason. So we have HANA DB here. So normally this HANA DB, this HANA DB, this HANA DB is a column-oriented relational database management. So normally this is developed and managed by the SAP only, SAP SC. So normally we will call it as the developed and so managed by SAP SC. SC is the one of the software company AG. So they are doing this kind of work here. So it's a primary function of this software is database server to store and retrieve the data as requested by the applications. It will store and retrieve the data. In addition to this, we can also do the some analysis, some data processing, some analysis, some searching. All these things we can take it here. We can take it here. If I talk about the versions of the HANA, so the initial release of the HANA is 2010. In the SAP HANA, the initial release they have released in the 2010, the initial release. Then after that, they have started slowly releasing the other versions and everything here, other versions, everything here in the database level here, right? It's kind of in memory. So one more feature, if I talk about here, other databases at a time, either OLAP or OLTP, it will store, right? OLTP or OLAP. So OLTP means online transactional processing. OLAP means online analytical processing here. Analytical processing here. Transactions means normally if you log into the Amazon, then if you do the one payment, that is the transactional processing. So analytical processing means, so it kind of BW, analysis purpose, warehousing purpose. So that is the analytical processing here, analytical processing here. So either other databases, either at a time, it will store the OLTP or OLAP. If you need both, you need to install the both two databases, you have to install it here. But in HANA, at a time, in one database, it will store the either OLTP and not either one OLTP and OLAP transactions it will store at a time. So that is the one of the greatest feature in the HANA database. In memory, column oriented, columnar database, it will store the OLAP and OLTP database also, it will store it here. So the major the demonstration of this platform was in 2011, in 2020, 2010. So they have released it. The customers have started so using from 2011 onwards. They have started using all these things and everything here. So all those things here. Then so this is the HANA DB. So HANA database here. So if I talk about the versions, of the HANA, as of now, what were the versions of HANA database here? Versions of HANA DB here. So the versions of HANA DB here, like, so we have HANA in the market. So currently we have HANA 1.0 is available, and also first they have released the 1.0, then later now in the market we have the HANA 2.0 is available. So HANA 1.0 means, just take the one small example, Robo 1.0. Robo 1.0. So Robo 1.0, Robo 2.0. The Robo 1.0 means it kind of single container, right? So that I will explain it later. So let's talk about the versions here, versions of HANA DB. In HANA 1.0, the initially they have released the HANA 1.0 SPS 01, right? After that, SPS 02 released it here. So what is mean by SPS means support pack stack here. Support pack stack, they have released it here. So HANA 1.0 SPS 01. Then later they have identified some bugs, some enhancements, some new features. So then they will not include anyone, no one will not include in the same version here. So they will release the new version. In the new version, they will include it here. After that, in every version, they have some bugs. Then they will go for the SPS 03 here. So then after that, SPS 04 we have, right? Then SPS 05, SPS 06, then SPS 07, then SPS 08, then SPS 09, then SPS 10 here. So then SPS 11, then SPS 12. Up to here, so they have released the HANA 1.0 softwares in the market up to 12. Then later, instead of they are releasing the 13, then they went for the HANA 2.0 SPS 01 again. SPS 01 here, they are released it here. Instead of going for all those things, so then 2.0, they have named it. Then here 2.0, HANA 2, then HANA 3, then HANA 4, then HANA SPS 05, HANA 2.0 SPS 06, HANA 2.0 SPS 07. This is the latest version in 2023. In the month of April, they have released in the month of April, they have released 2023. Sir, when they will release the new versions here? Every year, once a year in the April first quarter completed, then they will release the new SPS. They will release it here. So maybe in the next year you will get the HANA 2.0 SPS 08. But still now we have not released this one. We are in the SPS 07 only. So after that 1.0, they have released the 2.0 versions here. 2.0. So these are the database 2.0 here. After the 1.0, they have released the 2.0 version. They have released it here, right? So same as like, sir, what is the difference here? HANA 1.0, 2.0. Why they have released the after the 12? Why we have released the 2.0? After the Robo 1.0, the Rajnikant movie, then they have released the 2.0, right? So why? What is the difference between the 1.0 and 2.0? The 1.0 will have only one Rajnikant. Here 2.0 we have the two city robo, and so different technology, modern technology they have used it. That is the difference we have identified, right? And also you know more, like multiple times we have seen the movie also, right? You know more difference about that one. So I'm not telling like go and watch the movie, but just to understand here, right? So same as like here to understand. So HANA 1.0, 2.0 here, right? So here, what is mean by HANA 1 and 2? What is the differences here? Why they have released this 1 and 2 concepts here? How they came to the here? Why we have they have released all these things here, right? So the primary function of the database is to store, retrieve, and additionally analysis and everything, right? That you are clear now. So and also the 1.0, 2.0 differences we have to discuss. So, but before discussing about this one, in the HANA database, the coding part they have written in the C++ language, C++ language here. So, and also it will use the multi-threading concept here, multi-threading and parallel concept, parallel processing means suppose if you want to get the data from the database level at a time, multiple threads, multiple processes will be initiated to pick up the data, then give the response back to the users. That will happen here. So it is called the parallel processing and parallel processing and here multi-threading, which means one process, multiple threads will be initiated in the HANA database. That is the reason on fly we can make the business decision and also we can do the analysis of the predictive analysis of the table also here we can perform that one. So that is the great advantage in the HANA database if you use for your business, right? So let's talk about the more on the here to install the HANA database, what you required here. To install the HANA database, what you required here. To install the database, what you required, right? To install the HANA database, so HANA DB, what you require. To install the HANA database, first of all, the OS is very important here. Then software hardware requirement. First of all, we will discuss about the, so what operating system we required here. To install the HANA database here, coming to the hardware requirements and software requirements here. So as part of the requirements gathering here, we need Linux operating system. So you have to install the HANA on the Linux operating system itself. Why? Because it's a in-memory concept. And also it's not like that you need a 16 GB, 12 GB, 13 GB RAM. You require the minimum 128 GB RAM is required for HANA, your business use cases. Minimum 128 GB RAM is required for HANA databases, right? So that is the reason. So Windows, it won't support that much of capacity, actually 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes like that. But here, Linux operating system will support. Why? Because Linux operating system is the certified operating systems, either Linux operating system. In the Linux operating system, we have to discuss about the some commands also. Why? Because since everybody new to the Linux operating system, so here we have to discuss about the Linux operating system as well. How to open, how to navigate, how to operate the Linux operating system and everything here, right? So the OS perspective, we need the Linux operating system. Linux operating system. In the Linux operating system, also they have the versions. The Windows also we have the Windows 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we have same as like here also we have the versions of the operating system. Version of OS here. It's very important. Why? Because normally, so no one going to ask these questions, today's topics question. Why? Because it's a basic, right? No one will ask you these questions here. Some cases, someone will ask you, what is the operating system name? You can tell like, so Linux, what is the version here? That versions are very important here. So versions of the OS is like here, we have the SUSE Linux. SUSE Linux is the one of the flavor of the Linux here. Here we have SLES 15 SP05 is the latest. Before that we have the 04, then 03, then 02 and 01. Like that we have the versions are there here. Then after that, before 12, before 15, we have the SLES 12 version is there here, right? Here also SP01, SP02, SP03, SP04. SP means support pack versions. Normally in Excel are there, we will call it as the versions, right? Here we will call it as the support pack here. So that's why support pack version is so 50. This is the OS version here currently in the market, right? So if you want to install the latest version, then the latest version of the so SUSE Linux version we have to install it here. Latest version of the SUSE Linux version we have to install in the system here, right? So why? Because Linux will support only SUSE, HANA will support only Linux only, not the Windows 8, some Solaris like that operating systems, right? It won't support the Windows operating system. So that is the reason you need to get some familiarize. It means you need to get some work on the Linux systems. You have to execute some commands. So no problem. I will arrange the Linux systems we have so that you can get practice on the Linux systems also. Okay. So that is the major thing here, right? Linux operating systems here. Okay. So any questions, anyone till now? Just introduction we are discussing. So versions we are discussing. What OS we are discussing. Any questions till now? Okay. Okay. Fine. Good. Okay. That is the OS version, operating system versions here. So apart from that, we have after the OS version. So is it only OS is required? No, because HANA is the in-memory concept. Then what about the RAM size here? RAM means in-memory, physical memory. What is the RAM size here? So RAM size requirements and also CPU's requirement. So and also file system requirement. So file systems, and also you require the network requirements. So this all these things are required here, right? So how to calculate the RAM size then? Why? Because HANA means we have to carefully plan the all the hardware sizing and everything. Why? Because HANA is the database. So if you if you put your more efforts on the HANA installation side and also HANA hardware requirements, software requirements, your database will give the life. Like life means it won't give any trouble after the installations. So we have to carefully plan the hardware and software requirements here. We have to carefully plan the hardware and software requirements here. So coming to the RAM size here two ways. Why? Because all the data residing into the RAM memory only. Then how to calculate the RAM memory here? Is it 2 GB, 6 GB, 16 GB, 32 GB is required? Then how much RAM we required here? How much RAM here required here? Right? How much RAM size we required here? So RAM size requirements, when it comes to the RAM size requirements, so here Linux means not only SUSE Linux, we have the Red Hat Linux also. Red Hat Linux also we have the available here, Red Hat Linux. Either you can install the SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux. Both are the Linux only. Both are the Linux only. SUSE Linux OS or Red Hat Linux only, you have to install it. I think here 11 is the latest version, then 10.7 or 10 point is there, 10.5. So then 09 is there. So these are the latest versions of the Red Hat Linux here, right? So either you can install here or you can install it here. So RAM size requirement, we can take it two ways. One is the fix sizer tool here, or we can choose the t-shirt sizing method. T-shirt sizing method here. T-shirt sizing method. Either a quick sizer tool or t-shirt sizing method. We can use it here to get the RAM size. So why? Because RAM is very important. All the data residing into the RAM memory only. So for the database, for the HANA database. So if you choose the correct RAM size, so then we won't face any issues with the database here. So that is the reason. So here RAM size requirement, either a quick sizer tool or t-shirt sizing method, we have to use it here. So quick sizer tool is the SAP 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 tool here. The quick sizer tool is the SAP tool here. This is one of the web-based tool. Quick sizer tool is the web-based tool here. Quick sizer tool. So that quick sizer tool is the web-based tool here. So we can calculate the how much RAM is required here. So how much CPUs we required here, how much disk space we required here. So all these things we can calculate from here, right? Sizing means we need to calculate the all those things here, right? Here we can calculate the so you can calculate the sizing using the this quick sizer tool here, right? We can calculate the sizing here. So quick sizer tool. So HANA based quick sizer tool. Why? Because we have the HANA. So HANA based quick sizer tool, we have to use it. Then we need to log into the service marketplace here. So then we can find out the, so how much RAM is required, that information we can find out here, right? Just we can accept, we can create the project, we can do the inputs, then we can get the RAM size here. That is the, so tool we have to use it here. That is called the benchmark tool or Fixsizer tool. Fixsizer tool is the web-based tool. Just SAP provided to customers to calculate the how much RAM is required here. This is the Fixsizer tool here. So it's a web-based designer tool sizing of the SAP applications and HANA, especially for the HANA databases here. HANA databases sizing, we can scale it. We can scale the HANA database. You can scale the HANA database here. So that is the major thing of the sizing requirement here. So based upon this thing, you will get the sizing. Otherwise, you can go for the T-shirt sizing method. T-shirt sizing method. T-shirt sizing method means, T-shirt sizing means, so here T-shirt sizing method means here. So normally when you go to the shopping mall, here we have the small, medium, so large, right? Extra large, like that we have the small, medium, large, extra large, like that we have the, so two sizing methods are there, right? So small means here, small means here. So minimum for HANA, minimum you need the 128 GB RAM is required here. For medium means here you need 256 GB RAM is required here. So large means here, so 512 GB RAM is required here. So extra large means here you require the 1 terabyte RAM is required here. So not like that file systems, RAMs. Minimum 128 GB RAM is required for the small size companies here. So normally when you go to the shopping mall, your T-shirt sizing method, we will call it as the T-shirt sizing method. So which means as part of the greenfield implementation, suppose one customer asked you to install the HANA DB. In that case, so we can get two ways. Why? Because the RAM is very important. OS we can take the decision simply, but RAM is very important. How much RAM is required? So maybe we can go for the Fixsizer tool, but Fixsizer tool, it will give the how much all those things it will provide it. Otherwise, you can go for the, so T-shirt sizing method here. As part of this T-shirt sizing method, here, what you know here, it will, we will get the how much RAM. So you will get your, normally if you go to the shopping mall, small, medium, large, you will get the T-shirt sizes, right? Here also, the companies, some companies we will, or some organizations we will, based upon the number of employees, it's a small company. 0 to 500, it's a small company. 501 to 1000, it's a medium sized company. Like that, how we will scale it, how we will estimate it. Same as like here also, based upon the sizing, we will estimate the, so RAM size here. Here minimum 128 GB RAM is required. So here 256 GB for medium, large is the 512 GB, extra large is for here. Suppose your customer who asked you to implement the HANA database with a large company, then directly can go for the 512 GB of the RAM memory. So it is extra large, you can go for the minimum. It's kind of minimum requirements. These are the minimum requirements you can show. So for the small company, you want to go for the 256 GB, that's fine. But minimum is the 128 GB, we should meet it. Minimum 128 GB, the organization who are having more than architects. I can say like architects will do the sizing. So, but we should also know how they will do the sizing and everything, right? So normally we will not get the chance to do the sizing here. The architects will do the sizing here. So that you no need to worry about that one. If you are getting confused, you can just ignore it here. But if you know these technical words, you are well enough. Well enough. If you know these technical words, you are well enough here, right? So here to install the HANA database, the first OS is required here. Which OS? Either Red Hat Linux or SUSE Linux, fine. Then how much RAM? Well, because HANA is the in-memory database. So how much RAM is required? So RAM means that we cannot say directly 512 GB 1 terabyte here. We need to do some calculations here, right? Someone ask you, so then you need to do some calculations, right? So then based upon that, Here also we need to do the some calculations based upon the quick sizer tool or t-shirt sizing method here. So then based upon the RAM size, you got it. Maximum you can say like, so small company 128 GB RAM memory you required. You got the requirement. Then CPUs. How many CPUs you required here? So CPUs calculations wise, each each physical CPU will handle the 14 GB of RAM memory, right? One CPU will handle the 14 GB, two CPUs 28 GB, three CPUs 52 GB, right? So like this here, it will handle the load. So if it is means 128 GB means 128 by 14, how much will come? That many CPUs you required here. So nine, right? Nine CPUs. That's many CPUs you will come to know here, right? So that is the CPU's requirement here. Got it? So, RAM, once you get the RAM size, you will get all those things here. Only RAM size, getting the RAM size is very important here. Maybe that time architects will help you to get the how much RAM is required here. So CPU's t-shirt sizing methods are very important here. So CPU means each CPU will handle the here 14 GB of RAM memory. Two CPUs, 28 GB. But what about the total RAM size? 128 GB. Then 128 by 14, how many CPUs you required? Nine CPUs you required. So like that, you need to do the estimation, calculation of the your sizing calculation. This we will call as the sizing calculations here, right? So
Here I am having small doubt.
yeah,
Here in the CPU is nothing but we have the cores, right? A single CPU we have the four cores like that, right?
yes.
So single CPU, four cores in the sense, each core, how much amount of memory it will be? Is it?
That
Oh,
each CPU, so cores, like there is a socket, there is a socket concept, CPU architecture wise, maybe you guys will confuse. So first of all, socket. Each socket, we have the 16 CPU cores are available. 16 CPU cores, each socket. So it kind of multi-threading CPU architecture. Multi-threading CPU architecture. Each socket, 16 CPU core. CPU means CPU cores only. CPU cores only. CPU means CPU cores only here. CPU means one CPU means CPU cores only. Here I'm talking about the CPU means the CPU cores only here. So one CPU in one socket, one CPU, 14 GB of RAM memory, it will handle it. It will handle it. So physical CPU, a course concept, I'm not very sure, but here one CPU will handle the 14 to 16 GB of RAM memory. It will handle it in the physical memory. So when it comes to the virtual concept here, V concept, virtual CPU in the cloud wise, in the cloud level, it is the off CPU part. Off CPU means one CPU, one virtual CPU will handle the only 7 GB of RAM memory here. 7 GB of RAM memory here. So it's a off. So two virtual CPUs are equals to the one physical CPU. One physical CPU will handle the 14 GB of RAM memory here. One physical CPU. One physical CPU. One CPU means two cores. One physical CPU means cores wise, if I talk about two cores which will come. Two threads, two cores. One physical CPU means two cores. So two cores means one physical CPU. One physical CPU equals to 14 GB of RAM memory it will handle. More confusing part. This is the CPU side. This is the confusing part. Why? Because in the on-premise we have the physical CPU. Virtual we have the so cloud level vCPU's concept here. vCPU concept cloud level. So we have the cloud level. It will handle the very less. Why? Because they will divide one physical CPU. They will divide it into the two physical CPUs. They will divide it here. So that is the one.
And one more thing is that about RAM. For example, I'm having the existing SAP. I'm going to migrate to S4 HANA. In such case, how the RAM calculation will be, either it is
This
user
is
based.
for the greenfield implementation purpose, means fresh installation. So if we want to go for the migrations, we want to go for the migration. So here we can use in SA38, we can use the reports, HDB underscore sizing report, we can use it. Or we can use the some DB scripts. We can use the some DB scripts to calculate the how much RAM is required. What is the current size? How much is required? You will get the one. So better you can go for this report. We go this report in the existing system, then you will come to know estimation RAM size. You will come to know how much RAM is required.
Okay, will it take a long time to give the result, since whether we can run it in foreground or else we have to run it in background to get the out?
You can run it in the background. It may take, depends upon the DB size. It will give the results. DB size, it will give the results. Since we have executed in our systems, in our SAP system, during the conversion time, during the migration time, we have already executed this one. So few people you get confused. Why? Because you directly started the HANA DB. You directly ignore it, this one. So sizing of the HANA. Here, what do you want to do here? Which tables? So you can see number of threads. So you can just calculate it so that you can leave the full sizing. Then if you calculate it, it will give the perform the business suite on HANA sizing or perform the S4 HANA or HANA sizing. Then just if you click on the foreground, it will take some time. It will give the results here. Depends upon the DB size. So this report can be helpful. Otherwise, database level, we have to use the scripts here. So this way, you can calculate the RAM and CPUs. But don't worry about this one, because since you are like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years experience, normally you won't get chance to work on the sizing. So maybe if you know some information, that is very good actually. So fix sizer tool, we will do the sizing, t-shirt sizing method also it is available. Some reports also we can use it during the migration. So that is also we can use it here. That is also, so we can get the results here, right? That is the one. So the next one is
Yeah,
the
is it possible to walk us through the sizing?
what cost to sizing. Cost means.
Yes, because you mentioned the sizing, we have to go to the SAP website.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of interested in knowing how to calculate the sizing.
Yeah, we have to go to regarding the quick sizer tool. Regarding the quick sizer tool, we have to go to the SAP website. This is the SAP website here. SAP is providing the quick sizer tool to customers. Here you can calculate, you can determine the how many CPUs you require, disk space and memory, how much you required. You can use this quick sizer tool. This is one of the web-based SAP site here. Here you can go to the HANA-based sizing. So here we have to provide the inputs here. Here we have to provide the inputs to proceed further here. Maybe project name make HDB. Just click on the create project. So there we need to fill the one form here. Okay. So one form we have to fill it here. So just click on the